Tonight, we've pointed out key failures in policy and protocol within the Cleveland Police Department that our year-long investigation has uncovered. And we've shown how they can put the lives of everyone, including police officers on the streets, at risk. But we've also found how it can be done correctly and impact lives in a positive way. To see the successes of the crisis intervention training, Ron Regan traveled south to Durham, North Carolina.
We saw a successful program up close, in stark contrast to what we found here in Cleveland. They're trained, and that's it.
Yeah. Well,
is that right?
I think that's a candid assessment.
William Denahan admits a key police training program has failed to be fully implemented.
It's not only the Cleveland Police Department, it is us and the system that provides the services for behavioral health.
He served as both police chief and public safety director in the 90s. Today, Denahan oversees the mental health agency that trains Cleveland police.
Remain vigilant and use empathy and patience.
How to avoid using excessive force with the mentally ill.
Bring that person's energy down.
Our investigation found it's not what happens here in a 5-day, 40-hour training session, but instead what did not happen.
What has gone wrong in the Cleveland Police Department regarding CIT? Why has it not been as effective as it could be?
Well, I think when we designed it, we did not have it designed to that level of importance, as command level height.
It never reached that level.
It never reached that level. And I think that's part of where.
Who's responsible for that?
Well, I think that's the chief is responsible for everything over there.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Do you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Why?
Well, number one is when I did become chief of the Division of Police, I revamped the whole training scenario.
Cleveland Public Safety Director Michael McGrath launched CIT training in 2004 while chief of police, and was responsible for its implementation over the next 10 years.
Let me just say this, is that over the years, we've been trying to implement the CIT program to take it to the level where there's other cities. We've been unsuccessful, but it's because you need to get people trained. You need to put these processes in place.
Okay, and so is she having trouble breathing or is she having other issues?
Here in Durham, North Carolina, police are taking crisis intervention training for the mentally ill to a whole new level.
They de-escalated the situation.
Officer William Fleeman was trained in the very same crisis skills as Cleveland cops.
Just built a rapport with him, let him know that I cared.
But our investigation found significant differences. Lieutenant Mark Murray is among those overseeing Durham's program.
Family member asking for assistance for a loved one, someone's acting out. What happens?
Communications will ask certain questions according to their protocols.
Are they CIT trained?
Yes, they are.
That's not true in Cleveland. Our investigation found only 29 of Cleveland's 80 dispatchers are trained.
Why so few dispatchers? Over 10 years.
The availability of the training.
Here in Durham, it's exactly the opposite.
In that team, we have a number of investigators that are have a mental health person embedded with them. So the whole idea is to deal with the crisis when it occurs, but also try to have that person get resources and assets so they do not go into crisis again.
Felicia Jones is a social worker embedded with police and often on the streets.
Every mental health assistance call that comes through here, after it's responded to by first responders, will be followed through by your team.
Absolutely.
For example, even the homeless are included in Durham's program.
They made a real big difference because I was struggling, didn't hardly know where I was going to eat or sleep, and
You were homeless.
I was homeless. Yeah.
And your two little girls.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, put your hood on.
Kenneth Clate is now employed.
Hey, Daddy. So how you got here?
These my babies. I'm off from work. I got off at 3 o'clock.
How is everything? Good.
And living in an apartment.
You don't drive away.
No.
And leave them.
No, we don't. The idea is to follow up with them, the next day, Later on, after they're a little more stable, talk to them, see what they need, see what their needs are, see if we can meet those needs. So the 911 calls stop from that particular person, and they get more productive member of society.
Is that happening right now?
I don't think to the satisfaction of anybody. No, I don't think so.
After I'm assisted, will I be contacted again in any way by a member of the department the next day or the next week, the next month? Followed up with consistently?
Well, see, that's an issue that we are going to implement in 2014.
But it hasn't happened over the last 10 years. Would you agree?
I would agree, yeah. Officers didn't follow up on a particular, they make referrals, but they themselves weren't required to follow up on the call, that particular call they may have responded to.
What you had said was make a referral.
Plus, in Durham, police sit face-to-face every month with roughly 24 community agencies ranging from hospitals to EMS to mental health experts, evaluating how well the program is working. Does anything remotely happen like that here now?
No, not today.
Why?
Well, I don't know the reasons why. What I do know is that we're learning that that is absent.
By comparison, the program in Cleveland simply isn't up to the standard it is in other cities, or what the CIT model calls for. So who has the responsibility for that?
Well, the chief has a responsibility for that.
And you accept that?
Oh, absolutely, I accept that. There's no question about it. And you know, if I could have sent 100 officers to each CIT class, I would have.
And it's the lack of total community involvement that Cleveland now recognizes and is promising to change.
And Cleveland officers who have been trained say they feel the difference. Next, our investigators go out on Cleveland streets with the officers who patrol them and find out how the proper programs are changing lives.
We do what we can, and hopefully the system can help them out the rest of the way.